So your senses are always up.
Alert.
That's it's so weird. Like, and then here's the funny thing. Dudes, apparently, guys don't feel like that. I talked to
your brothers.
Sorry. No, I talked to my boyfriend the other day and I asked him, babe, if I call you and you don't pick my call, do you ever think about she's not safe? Because me, I find a missed call, I'm thinking, whoa, what's going on? You know what I mean? And he was like, no, so I'll just call you back. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I could be calling you because I could get him attack funguka na sijintafanya nini. Because I am, and I'm not, it's not because there's something he can do about it, but it's just because standing outside the gate and it's dark makes me feel like I'm going to jump over that gate and I need someone to help me navigate the emotion. So it just feels very unsafe and like anyone can just turn on me.
This is from a certain page. There's a lady called Gladys Thara, 24 years old, who was killed by her husband on the 14th of November. Another named woman, 25 years old, was strangled by her husband. Sharon Atieno, 19 years, was mutilated and murdered and dropped in a banana plantation. Another one is Shosho Mary, 76 years old, was raped, strangled in her house, and killed in Soweto. Like, these are men that they knew. How many husbands have you had there? And that's just a few. I've just read 4. You know, people who know them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just reiterating what you're saying. That sometimes, yes, you have good male friendships in your life.
Yeah.
But that you can't help but wonder. Like, imagine the constant anxiety of wondering, you know, am I really safe with these people?
Yeah, like when will you turn on me? It's like...
It's so sad. And I don't think that's a very safe space to be as a woman. For these people who teach manhood, like the subject of manhood is a woman being katikati. So remove a woman, who are you? You know,
exactly.
I think that we should now, I think it should be a wake-up call to understand what being a woman is without a man in question, and also being a man without a woman being in question.
So for you go, if it's a man, they go looking for a woman they can suppress because that is what they identify with as love, or that is what they know being a man is.
Being a man, yes.
And as a girl child, you go looking for a man who puts you down in that aspect, and that is what is conditioned as normal. If a man does not hit me, then they don't love me. Yeah.
The government should put that 100 million there to go to Nenda therapy for free. It's expensive, guys. Very expensive. To go to Nenda.
So, welcome to Laughing Labcoat. Even before we start with the introduction, I'd like to say that it's a sad time to be Kenyan and to be a woman in a country where violence against women continues to be accepted, tolerated, and justified. It's so sad that, and I think this is the second wave, right, of femicide in Kenya, and we had the first wave at the end of last year to this year, and you would expect, you know, when something as bad as this has hit our country, kuna mikakati itatengwa na kufanywa, sindio? But I feel like because of the kind of acceptance and justification of violence against women, we are even getting into a deeper rabbit hole. And it's so sad. It's so sad. And I speak for other women also, because I don't think I'm the only one feeling like this. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. In with my friends, with people I know and people I don't even know. The other day I was in a mart and someone, like we just had a lady started having a conversation with me akisema how ako glad I sat next to her. Ako anataka any man to sit with her, you know, to sit beside her, and I can tell this is just a stranger talking to me, a stranger, about her safety in a matatu. You get where, and it's sad. It's a sad reality, right? And with me, my two good friends, now I can say my name after ranting. My name is Fridah Nduati. I know it's been a while since I was on this side of the pod, and it looks like the only time I come on this side is when women are oppressed. But I hope not to come here because of femicide again. I hope to come here to we discuss about the victory that we have against violence against women. But as at now, let's have that conversation. I am Fridah Nduati. I am glad to be here at the Laughing Labcoat. I'm always behind the camera, but today I am on screen and on frame with two amazing women. Before we start the pod, I'd like to tell them to introduce themselves. And they tell us 1, 2, 3 of things that they do. So over to you.
All right. Hi. My name is Ivy Kinyangui. My background stems in social impact measurement, that is basically in research and analysis as well. I am a mother of 2 boys, so I tell myself as a boy mom. I am also a content creator around lifestyle, parenting, and healing in general. Yeah, so that's the little or the much about me.
Yeah. So Ivy,
Yes.
before when we go to the next contender,
Yeah.
we are friends.
Yes.
And I know you take so much pride in being a boy mom.
Yes.
Is raising 2 boys a simple job, or is it a very interesting job, especially in bringing up emotionally intelligent men?
I'd say it's not an easy job, yeah, but at the end of the day, it depends on the parents and on the mother raising the children. And the reason why I say it's not an easy job, especially when it comes to raising emotionally intelligent children or boys, is because of the societal conditioning or the societal conditioning outside your household that is there. Boys are basically taught to suppress their emotions. You know, be a man. Don't cry. Why are you crying? You're supposed to be a man. And what that does is they tend to suppress their emotions instead of us as parents teaching them how to navigate emotions and to understand their emotions. So it is a challenging thing, but I believe that with a lot of intentionality, we can raise emotionally intelligent boys. Yeah.
Thank you, Ivy, for
Thank
that.
you.
Faith,
Yeah.
we've been friends for very many years, right?
Girl.
And I know I don't want to say much,
Just say
but
it.
I say it. I say
Just
it.
say it.
I remember we usually have a certain spot where we meet
Well, yeah.
to rant about
Life.
in general, and I think that that's a safe space to be, right?
Yeah.
Before you okay, as you tell us your name, I'd like you to highlight how friendship matters, especially in supporting each other in such a hard time as this. Girl friendships, that is.
Okay, so let me start with the question before I forget, because I can't forget my name.
Okay.
What's that one? The other way around.
Okay.
So question is, how does friendship help
Play.
us?
Yeah.
So I feel like, okay, friendship is very important. And I think I learned that the hard way. Okay, growing up, I am a sister to 3 boys.
Oh yeah.
So growing up, learning how to make friends was very easy for me. But the difference was I could make acquaintances but not friends. So having connection with people, because you see the thing of men don't really show emotion. So me and my bros, we're bros. Like we're literally bros. So having that connection and lovey-dovey and just having their support in everything that I'm going through as a chick was not normal, right? So growing up, figuring out how to make friends and like friends who stick was the hardest thing I have done. And I will not lie, guys. For like 3-4 years, I did not have friends. And I was thinking I was okay till life started happening. And I remembered, I actually do need friends. So with that said, the situation of what's happening now and the way life is, I feel like having friends who you can just talk to, not because there's anything you're getting out of them, because most of the time, the friendships that I had learned how to make were circumstantial. If you're giving me something, I'm giving you something back. So that's the only way we can keep a relationship. But with life happening, I have learned that all I need is me to just talk to you, you to just talk to me, and we can figure everything out. And I can feel like my life is not so boxed up, and it's a bit palatable for me to process. And I feel like even the situation of what's happening with femicide in the country, if only people would understand how better life is with friends and with people that you can just sit and tell everything that you think is wrong or right with your life,
and even be accountable for you.
Exactly. And be like, yo, Cheki, you can't be doing that 5 times in a row and you expect us to not tell you that you're messing up, you know. So I feel like friendship would, like, having genuine connections with people would just make the situation of what's happening in the country
even
very, very light and easily, like, you can really take care of it. Yeah.
There's this saying that, you know, and I think us girls, we've definitely been there where we trasema the idea that real friends don't never let you down, right? And so, right, real friends don't never let you down. Real friends, right? Now sometimes I wonder, could just the standard of accountability with each other be, could that be something that would challenge the societal norms that are there, that maybe promotes toxic, how do I say, toxic that challenge toxic, hapo tutakata kidogo, toxic culture about femininity. Like, for example, we all come from very different backgrounds. I don't know how you're brought up, Ivy. I don't know how, like, we are all brought up differently. And I think there's this saying that we are a mosaic thing of each other. Like, a little bit of everyone that I meet. And I think the kind of mindset I have about me being a woman will be influenced by how you are and how you are, and the people that we choose to be ourselves. You've said there's something about we were just I was talking something about accountability came in, because let's talk about it. Femi said that death against women doesn't start in a day.
Yeah.
It starts from somewhere. And before we went live, we were talking about how, and I think we will share what you shared. Start from first very weird upbringing, not necessarily put to stone, but it kind of looks like that. Alafu come to a very interesting mindset about women, then moves to disrespect to women, and then moves to abuse, maybe verbal, emotional, mental, psychological abuse, then moves to physical abuse. Then afika pahali, now this is not a woman, this is just someone, a thing that now that it's very able to stop and kill, right? So I'm thinking, as you remember, you've not introduced yourself, which Lord. You will after this question. So I'm thinking, I don't know, good friendships. Do you think good friendships, especially women friendships, are a challenge to the primitive kind of thought about femininity? What do you think?
To who specifically?
To our fellow woman.
So,
but I mean, do you think good friendships are the ones that are going to eradicate the kind of bad mindset about femininity? Because there are women who have accepted to be treated a certain way, but apart with conversation with other women, wait, that is not right.
Why are you doing that to yourself?
Do you think good friendships are, that is posing the question, do you think good friendships are challenge the bad societal norms about femininity?
I feel like wholesome friendships do challenge, especially the patriarchal what do you call this, ideals, and it demystifies that. And the thing is, it breaks it down, because if you have wholesome friendships or wholesome female friendships around you that keep you accountable, that call you out, I'll tell you, hey, you know what, you are on the wrong track. Why are you staying with someone who's verbally abusing you? Why are you still staying? with someone who is,
financially
abusing you, whatever kind of abuse. I feel like that definitely challenges and it helps break that down. And it's very important for us as women to ensure that we create friendships should be a safe space. That is how I look at my friendships. They should be a safe space where I can, talk about things that are affecting me as a woman, things that I'm going through probably in my relationships, whatever kind of ship that is, female friendships, male friendships, marriage, whatever, name it, yeah? So, and for me, having that and having women around me who will keep me accountable when, hey, you are late, did you share your location, something. And I feel like it's very, very important, and it helps us as women ensure that we also take the necessary measures outside of our friendships as we navigate, life in general, your day to day. It helps us navigate that with a lot more caution and awareness of what surrounds us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with what she's saying. Yeah.
And you are?
Oh, sorry, guys. I told you. I thought I couldn't forget my name. My name is Faith Njeri Kamau. Kamau is my father. I'm saying this PCS style. Kamau is my father. I am an entrepreneur, pivoting into marketing and advertising, and soon to be podcaster again. Don't ask why, but again.
Again.
Yeah.
Again.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And what do you think? I just like to know your thoughts. How did we reach here as a country? Femicide being in question.
How did we get here?
How did we get here? Let me reiterate something. I read some statistics that over 2 months, 90 women lost their lives. And those are the ones which are reported. Most of them, I don't have a clear statistics, but it's from a lover, husband, boyfriend, or someone they know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How did we reach here as a country? I that is what I'm trying to wrap my head around it. And I don't know. I'd like to pick your brains.
I think it's sad to say this, but I think I need to say it.
Say it.
I think we have always been here. Because the reason why it's so bad now is because the society and the generation that is now being grown up, because you see, this does not happen among us kids. It happens among us people between, I think, the ages of like 16 and above. So I'm thinking the people who are between that age gap at this time are the kids that were brought up by fathers who believed that women were just women. Like, that's all you are. Your work is to cook, clean, give us babies, and let's move. Don't ask questions. Don't tell me nothing. I really don't think your opinion is valid. And I feel like because that's a greater majority of the society, I think that's how we got here. Because of the parenting that has happened amongst us. Because you see, psychology, like in psychology, your childhood forms literally half the person that you are before you become a grown-up, and then you decide that I don't want to do this anymore. I want to learn how to do this other thing and change what I know growing up. So I feel like how people were brought up and the ideologies that our parents had when they were bringing us up has gotten us here.
Ivy, being a parent.
Yes.
How did we get to a place where now it's okay? Like it's so easy to hear a woman has been killed by another man.
Okay, I think for me, what I believe is it stems from past generations, and this has continuously been perpetuated. Because when you look at some cultures, when men are going through that transformative rite of passage of circumcision, there are a lot of teachings that stem from the traditional days, and up until date we still have some communities that still instill a woman is lesser Treat a woman like you treat your child. A woman should not speak up. Yeah. So if we are still exposing our children to such kind of misogynistic traditions and ideals, and that is what is shaping them, or rather that is what is shaping their identity as men or defining their masculinity, then I think we are on the wrong path. And I feel like it's very, very crucial for us, I'd say in this day and age, it starts in your houses, in our homes. What kind of environment are we raising our children in, both boys and girls? Okay. And I feel like this stems across, in as much as we're talking about femicide, it starts from our houses. What kind of environment have you created for your children? It's a two-parent household. By this I mean there's a man, there's a father, and there is a mother. Yeah. So are we still okay, the other day I was reading, was it sometime this month, there was a report out on gender-based violence, and there are around 4,000 cases that are being reported every single month, which is a very high number. And I'm imagining in these 4,000 homes, there are children who are having to observe some of these things. So it starts from there. The woman choosing to stay, or the man choosing to, to hit a woman, whatever kind of abuse in front of children, this creates a sense of this is normal for the children. It creates a sense of this is normal. And I'd say it's unfortunate because just as you earlier said, in terms of psychology, what informs partly us before we get to decide who we want to be is our childhood and our traumas. And for me, that is very crucial because when you are raising a child in an environment where there is this kind of abuse and they're consistently, being an observer, because there is only so much a child can do. An 8-year-old won't stand up to their dad and say, don't beat my mom, okay? Why? You're not supposed to stand up to your father or something like that. And consistently, or a girl child, they're seeing their mother being a punching bag, consistently, from verbal, whatever kind of abuse that is being perpetrated in that house. For me, what that creates is, it's okay. This is normal. And it is normal.
And then it gives the narrative of if someone doesn't do this, then they don't love me.
Then they don't love you, because that is what they identify as. This is what I feel like that is what really informs relationships, or from male and female romantic relationships, or relationships with men and women. And what that does is, it's like a software. Every single day for the last 18 years, I've been seeing my parents being a punching bag, or my father be this or that. What that creates is it's a software. So for you, once you grow up and you move out, because this is what was normal for you, it's like a software that updates itself. So for you go, if it's a man, they go looking for a woman they can suppress, because that is what they identify with as love, or that is what they know being a man is. And as a girl child, you go looking for a man who puts you down in that aspect, and that is what is conditioned as normal. If a man does not hit me, then they don't love me. So I feel like it stems from our homes, and we, in this generation, we have to be very, very intentional with our children, both male and female, to break down this what do we call it, to ensure that, number one, our boys are emotionally aware, because there is a lot of suppressing, and I really don't like this, because I am a solo parent. I am a boy mom. I'm raising 2 boys, and more often than not, I've had comments from society in general, and especially guys telling me, "Oh, you're raising very emotional boys." And for me, the thing is,
you're thinking,
you're raising an emotional boy. Oh, you should not do that. But the thing that I'm personally doing, because this is not what happens in every household, for me, what I am intentionally doing is ensuring that I am raising emotionally aware boys. And by raising boys who are emotionally aware, they are able to understand that emotions are just an expression of humanity. And it's not vulnerability. It is not weakness. It is not something that puts you down. It's not something that does not show that you have not, quote unquote, manned up, you know? And what that does is, for me, I feel like when I am ensuring that my 3-year-old, he has no idea that he's frustrated. Yeah? So I'll come down to him and tell him, hey, what's going on? They're crying. Yeah. You try to ensure that they understand. Okay, so you're angry. All right, that is anger. And I help them navigate or put a name to that particular emotion. Yeah, to the feeling that they're having. And the thing is, it creates an element of also empathy. And I mean, empathy is the baseline for relationships. And once you raise emotionally aware children, they're able to get in touch with their emotions in moments where I've had people talk about the reason why you know, like a man showing emotion is weakness, nini. So for you, it's heat, you know, no. The thing is, you're able to identify that this is how I'm feeling, and I can actually communicate this because by being emotionally aware, then you can be able to communicate to the next person that, hey, this made me feel 1, 2, 3, and you're able to talk through things instead of, you know, you're a man. Hits, you know, raise a hand, put them down, put your foot down as a man, and you're not explaining exactly where the disconnect is. So those are my thoughts on it.
And I also feel, to add on what you're saying, like, I don't think the kind of society we're in, we are trying, it stems from what you taught and from your household.
Yes.
And I think when we were not on live, we were asking ourselves, for these people who teach manhood, like the subject of manhood is a woman being katikati. So remove a woman, who are you? You know.
Exactly.
I think that we should now. I think it should be a wake up call to understand what being a woman is without a man in question, and also being a man without a woman being in question, because you find some society, and I've heard about them, you know, there's some people like you sit with, before jikate, you listen to them, go like, where, let me run. There's a guy I sat with, no unasikia, everything about him being a man is how he treats a woman. And it's so primitive and misogynistic, chauvinistic, and it's so sad. And you find that now getting a woman who, maybe that's what they were taught also, put themselves in such a situation, and then we end up in a very weird place. And what I'd say is, we are not in, we are in different times. And it's okay if that's what you've been taught by your family, you know, but it's your responsibility to educate yourself. Of course, God is not a very not jealous. He's not stingy. He's already definitely amekuweka in a place where you can, you know, you can see something different other than the one that you had. Nanadhani, it's about time men to educate themselves, and also allow to be educated, and also expose yourself to honor that things, there are very different things than what you usually know. There's someone who told me something a while back when I was really disturbed now some thoughts. What you know is not universal. You know, what you know is not universal. Like your boundaries are not universal, your teachings are not universal. So kitu ni kapa hali, like always be at a place of knowing, because it is when you know, I think the more you know you don't know, and that's why you know.
And when you get to the point where you know, you really know
you
nothing.
know you don't know. So this sturdiness and stoicness of, you know, I know what being a man is, and yet all you know is you know, it's very primitive. So I think what I'd say, it's a call for men to educate themselves, and women to also educate themselves, and not allow themselves not to be attached na watu wenye pia wana akili yenye iko sawa. But you had something to say?
I had something to say. And I'm trying to connect it to what she was saying. So you said something about men not being able to process emotion and say what it is that they're feeling. But here's the thing. I read somewhere like a week or two ago, they don't know how to label the emotion, but they know how to express it, because the only emotion they can express is anger. So the reason why they would lash out is because the easiest way to get it out, whether it's frustration, is by being angry. So being angry is, you are taught how to throw a punch. I was taught by my brothers, guys, I can throw a punch really well. So it's like they were taught, you get angry, just throw a punch, hit a wall. And now it comes to the point where us girls just know how to talk and express ourselves. So we're there. So you will be the punching bag.
But you get...
So you see, the sad part about it is they know how to express, but the way they're expressing is wrong.
And that's why I'm saying, you know, it's every individual's responsibility to educate themselves.
Exactly.
It's something we will not every time. How do I put it? Kusingizia. How do we say it in English?
Kusingizia.
Blame your childhood. You know,
I
where
know.
you're from. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the easy route. Kusema. Okay, then let me say I'm a Taurus then. Siskizangi, you know. So if I cannot blame the constellation and the retrograde where the position of the sun is in retrograde, then why should a man come hit me and say that is how I was taught?
No.
You know, no. That is not an excuse. And I think everybody, I think once umefika adolescent, you know, try you're your own person. You're not your family's
It is your responsibility.
Exactly. And let me tell you, when you get arrested, you won't go say, if you can't stand on a court of law to say my mother and my father taught me this, then it means that is your life and you should teach yourself. In a level,
makes sense. Una jump. Should we calm you down?
And anyway, and also this, out of that conversation in Anileta kwa juu sasa mimi sasa tushaanza kujao. How does that make you feel? Like Ivy, as I being a Kenyan lady, especially when umesema you're bringing your boys alone, right? Uko peke yako, a woman in the house, peke yako, knowing that your boys only have you. In a society where, you know, uwezi jua mtu anauliwa wapi. So how does that make you feel, being a Kenyan and being a woman?
Being a mom.
It partly makes me feel unsafe. Because I am not sure, okay? So what I normally do is lock the doors, ensure that it doesn't matter whether the nanny or whoever is in the house is locked, I have to counter check. And I think the other day I was actually talking about installing cameras so that I can have a camera for outside, such that, you know, like just safety measures. It makes me feel partly unsafe, but on the other hand, I cannot show that because I have little ones who are looking up to me and they know, you know, a parent is a protector. Mother, father, whoever is in the house, they're a protector. Gender norms notwithstanding here. So, yeah, it's, I don't know. It makes me feel very indifferent, partly unsafe, but it also renews my intent to ensure that I break down these traditional, you know, norms that have been created, or the societal norms for my children, so that they can understand there is no disconnects, you know, that in a war. Because this is what I say, with such pressures of stoic and, what would I say? Just a quick one. Scrap that. Okay. So, I'd written something down. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah. So the traditional stoic and dominance, a man has to be the dominance and whatever, it creates an element of disconnect. Number one, within yourself as a man and in relationships. So for me, I feel like it continues oiling my willpower and my intention to ensure that I am standing in the gap and changing the narrative for the future generations through the children that I'm currently raising, the boys that I'm raising at the moment.
Please. I think now I can't even call you, as at now, we can't even go out at night and party.
What a party, hata kwenda duka. Me guys, I won't lie to you, ikifika saa 2, kama kuna kitu sijanunua, tunaweza nunua kesho. Because every time you leave your house, I have to check, okay, I'm leaving the house, right? Lazima ni make sure sijafunga gate kabisa. Because nikitoka duka nikirudi, ile mbio nitakuja. That gate needs to be open within a second, right? So it just feels like everything is here with me, but it's like it's rejecting me and I am here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Like, you live in constant fear.
Exactly. It's like you're always, it's like you're always in an action movie where you are about to be shot by someone. So your senses are always up.
And that's
it's so weird. Like, and then here's the funny thing. Dudes, apparently, guys don't feel like that. I talked to
your brothers.
Sorry. No, I talked to my boyfriend the other day and I asked him, babe, if I call you and you don't pick my call, do you ever think about she's not safe? Because me, I find a missed call, I'm thinking, whoa, what's going on? You get what I mean? And he was like, no, so I'll just call you back. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I could be calling you because I could get him attack funguka na sijintafanya nini. Because I am, and I'm not, it's not because there's something he can do about it, but it's just because standing outside the gate and it's dark makes me feel like I'm going to jump over that gate and I need someone to help me navigate the emotion. So it just feels very unsafe and like anyone can just turn on me. And it's like, you see, okay, I have dogs. I love dogs. But there's this time where they can really, like they love you, they jump on you and you guys are playing and you're fine. Then there's a time that they can just switch up and just... So it's like they're ready to buy. And you're thinking, why? So I feel it's like, it's the same thing we're feeling with being out at night. You don't know who's going to turn on you. So you don't know when you're safe and when you're not.
And you feel like, it's so sad because it even makes you... Yes, we have very good male friendships.
Yes.
What you're saying, like you... Because let me read you something. This is from a certain page. There's a lady called Gladys Thara, 24 years old, who was killed by her husband on the 14th of November. Another named woman, 25 years old, was strangled by her husband. Sharon Atieno, 19 years, was mutilated and murdered and dropped in a banana plantation. Another one is Shosho Mary, 76 years old, was raped, strangled in her house, and killed in Soweto. Like, these are men that they knew. How many husbands have you had there? And that's just a few. I've just read 4. You know, people who know them. Now, I'm just reiterating what you're saying. That sometimes, yes, you have good male friendships in your life, but that you can't help but wonder. Like, imagine the constant anxiety of wondering, you know, am I really safe with these people?
Yeah, like when will you turn on me? It's like...
It's so sad. And I don't think that's a very safe space to be as a woman. Imagine living in constant anxiety daily. It will definitely turn our...
Yeah, and then you're never relaxed.
Exactly.
Like you just can't chill. They keep telling you, must take a chill pill. You're thinking, oh, where is it?
Really? The other day someone tells me, yo, si tufanye hivi, nambia, yo, siezi man. Mbona nambe tu siezi. And I can't even say why. Like, okay, I know why. But telling them why I can't doesn't even make sense in their head. No, apart the kind of anxiety I have, it's sad. And apart, it's not only me, it's something that is happening with everyone that I'm talking to. You know, and it's so sad. Now that it looks like the government in Adani, these men are from Mars that are doing this, and they're 100 million in I don't know what work it's supposed to do, you know.
Labda tunafaa tuandike watchman.
Bro.
Kila mtu na watchman.
You're 100 million, right?
Kila mtu na watchman.
Nipewe yangu nijendikie security. But anyway, I'm thinking in January when this movement was there, it was really big. And I remember the awareness I could protect women was there. And one thing that it didn't sit well with me is that no leader was the pioneer of this thing. Not even a pioneer, even a partner to show support in women. I want to say a lot of bad words, but so help me God. We have 47 women reps in this country to represent women in the country. Not only that, we have a lot of people sitting on those chairs in parliament seats, you know, who can even pass bills to protect women. If I think I shared with, I'm not sure, I shared a reel with a couple of people on Instagram. In Colombia, there are women who passed a bill where children under the age of 14 cannot be consented to marriage. Apparently it was, I didn't know,
What?
That as long as a lady, girl is 14 years, they can be
Married
off. Yeah. That is how it was for a very long time. Now, the women who rose to the bar and they wakaikata, such that now that law is not a law anymore. And I could see these women sitting down and crying and being happy that that has been cut off. And I was looking at these women, I'm like, what? Keep in mind, there's no woman there whose baby can be, like, of course, si watoto wao wameenda kufaitia. They're fighting for people they don't even know. The representatives wenye wameweka hapo in that space, they're fighting for their rights. So I'm looking at where we are right now. If we say we are ending femicide, and yet the people who are supposed to be doing anything, they are sitting in those seats, not doing anything. Like, where are we? I feel betrayed as a woman. I feel betrayed, honestly, by the government, and even the women who are sat on those chairs. Femicide is not only even the women, even the men. Because I don't think femicide is a woman issue. It's a societal issue that has not been taken with the weight that it deserves in our government systems, in our government systems, in our law, you know. And the big work that was there, no one had any support from the government. Now, as we speak, no one has talked about it, and it's such an ironical state. When the when the deputy president was being impeached, you saw the kind of resource they gave for public participation, right? For, to know what the wananchi are saying. Millions and millions of money is get chini so they wajue. So inanyonyesha, see ati they can't, they just won't.
They just don't want to.
And it's so sad because these are the people who are supposed to lead the way. Like, how does that make you feel, Ivy, honestly?
It gives me a sense of frustration and anger. It makes me angry because I'm like, why? Yeah. It makes me very frustrated because I'm like, what kind of representation are we having from the female elected what do we call it, members or whatever? It makes me feel so angry because I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, why are you there?
Yes. We championed for, what do we call it, gender equality when it comes to who sits where on the political seats. Here we are, we have elected our women and we are hoping for that representation. I feel like, for me, I hope the Kenya that we get to see is a Kenya where they are actively showing up and showing out and being on the forefront to champion some of these movements, especially on this aspect of femicide. The other bit is, I don't know this 100 million what it's going to do, but I hope that there is going to be education. I hope there is going to be education and sensitization on femicides, both for women and for men especially, and for women as well. I don't know how the attitude is going to change, but I feel like the more we have this conversation, because I feel like it's a matter of attitude, the attitude that we have around this conversation of femicide. If that attitude can shift, and the more we speak about this, it creates a platform where these conversations it's a ripple effect. It's continuously heard from this particular platform to whoever will listen to this, to the households, to whoever will be shared with. Yeah, so for me, I don't know, I'm angry at all people. Yeah.
I think I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that I woke up that day and nikapanga line. Yeah?
Pale hivyo kwa ile shule.
Pale hivyo kwa ile shule. And my mother was there telling me, Faith, nimesema. And now you're thinking about it and you're like, okay, why did I have to make all that effort for me to get nothing? Because it's like you invested in something and you're not getting your returns back.
Your basic right, bro.
Let us make ourselves feel better and call it a return. Like we're not even getting our returns back. You know? So it's disappointing. And kidogo, it feels like, do you really know why you're there? Do you really know why we gave you that seat? Do you really know why you printed your face on a photo, on a poster, and we posted them everywhere? Do you really know what it means to represent women? And for the men who are there to make the policies, do they really understand the effect it has on the society for them not taking action? You know, do they think that the lives of women matter to them and matter to the rest of the society, or do they think the society is men? I'm sorry, I love you guys so much, but do they think the society is men? You know, so it's kidogo it feels like, do you really know your JD, or do we need to read it back to you?
Remind you.
You know, like whether tunaweza print tutaisoma.
It's ironical because the manifestos they gave us.
Honey, don't let me tell you, my father keeps saying this: politicians and getting a boyfriend is the same thing. They will lie to you. Ukiingia box anafungua kitabu anakwambia sasa hii ndio syllabus ile yenye nilipatia si hiyo. So
and I think of
it's
the
the same
questions
thing
you have posed, I think let's remember these things when we are going to the polling station in the next 3 years, right? Let's not forget. Let's look at vile mambo iko. And I think what we're saying with the generation that is coming up, right? Let's be adamant. Let's not repeat the mistakes that our parents did.
yeah,
You know, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right?
yeah.
So we have seen, I think, if there's a time that we have been sensitized now how leadership matters to, like, in affect everyone, it's now. And I think I'd pose it as a challenge to my generation. Like, let's not be silent. One, let's not be gullible especially in electing our leaders and representation. And I'd really love to urge our leaders, if they are listening to this, like, Mom Kenny.
And I also think, now that you said that, I think it would be best if it would be nice, because I feel like the generation that is there now that is very lively and is moving on with life is like millennials and a bit of Gen Z, and I feel like they are very aware of the pains and the pressures and the wounds that you got from the previous generation. So half of them, so to speak.
How do you think men are contributing to the problem, and how do you think women are contributing to the problem?
Wait, I need to think. What? Men are contributing and women are contributing.
I can answer for the men. I think men are contributing to the problem of femicide by not being accountable to each other. They, for example, your guy comes tells you, you know,
but they jana mi na mama tulifight.
Limpiga. Unaelewa, nilimpiga. We, ucheke, right? Na useme vile inafaa, bro. Unaona?
Anyamaze amwambie wa bro. Pole man, uliumia.
Ama unajua hivyo ndo mambo inakuanga.
Ama saa zingine
alifanya
what did she do? It was justified.
So unapata men find justification of abuse, because what we have said, it doesn't start from just killing.
You don't come home one day and you're like, you know what, I'm done. Leo.
It starts from very simple abuse. Kwanza mental abuse. You know, if men call out each other, when you see your own brother doing something weird, you know, to a woman, just because she's a woman, because of the societal norms of who a woman is, then we are going to mitigate this. The reason why it has been appropriated is because they are protected, they are tolerated, and they are justified. And I think that is where the problem is. And I think, I don't know, and I think our society has umebembeleza that kind of behavior. And that's why we are in the same shit, and we're not going to get out of this rabbit hole if men also don't play a part. Not only women, but also men. You can add on maybe his question about women. How have women contributed to this?
How have women contributed to this? I'd say, interesting. I'd say for me, it's women who consistently are sympathizers.
Enablers.
And enablers. Women who no longer call out, what do we call this? They no longer call out those sexist ideas, jokes, language, you know, women who continuously, you see a friend of yours, just because marriage, number one, or, you know, being in a relationship, or it gives you a status of some sort. Unambovumilia, mwanamke ni kuvumilia. Mwanamke ni kuvumilia. Instead of being accountable and actually sensitizing your fellow woman that, hey, this is not right. This is not love. This is not how it's supposed to be. It's not normal. I feel like women who are sympathizers, women who will rush to ask, what did she do for that to happen?
What did you do?
Yes, what did you do? Alikuwa amevaa nguo fupi yule. Yule aliongea vibaya.
Alikuwa na 2 boyfriends.
Alikuwa na 2 boyfriends. Alikuwa na double deal hapa kule.
Alikula fair.
Exactly. You know, for me, I feel like we owe it to ourselves as women to be accountable to each other, to call out some of these things, and to not entertain from our households, from our friend groups,
our
workplaces, whatever that may be for you. That's how I feel women are contributing.
I can give an example.
Yes.
That you, Elias, you know a little bit of that story. I was sexually harassed at work, right? It's so sad because of the people who were on my neck were my fellow women. You
Really?
know,
Excuse
only
me, what?
one person
Stood up.
And let me tell you, we couldn't have fought that fight alone. You know what she told me? She told me, we can't do this alone, and we can't get justice for you. But what I'll do, I will empower you to be able to rise above it.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because if every other woman stood against that, we could have been able to win.
Exactly.
But because we were only the 2 of us against a whole corporate of women, there's nothing we could have done. And I think as this fight is continuing, and I think it's something I take home. Let's empower each other as women. Let's empower each other so that we stand together. We became an alliance for women, right? So how much more that each and every person like empowers the other person and empowers the other person to be better, and also to call out to not agree with this behavior and call it out. Nakwambe will be such a powerful force against gender violence.
The saddest thing about what you've said is these are very well-educated people. Well-educated, you know? And for me, I feel like education, what do you call this? Degrees and whatnot. It does not quantify to awareness on some of these issues. So it's very important also in our workplaces and wherever we are at, to ensure that these conversations are actively heard and these behaviors are not excused. And it's such a shame that a woman who should be there, you know, calling this person out or putting such things down or calling them out, they're there being sympathizers and asking, you know, it's so sad that happens. Despite the, ukona PhD, ukona nini, it doesn't matter. That notwithstanding, hukuingia darasani, notwithstanding, it's such a shame. And I feel like any woman who is a sympathizer with a perpetrator, what do we call this, you should be so ashamed of yourself. There is no justification for that.
I read somewhere ukiwekwa na a misogynistic man and an internalized misogynistic woman, run to the misogynistic one. He's a less evil. But makes sense though. But anyway, it's so sad. It's such a dark joke. But yeah. So with that, Elias, do you have any other question? And Nezataka, as we wrap up, I have, let me give a closing comment. I'd say that the women who are the men, I'd like to address the nation if possible. State of the nation.
Or cameras on her.
Yeah,
right?
put this on a t-shirt.
Oh.
The men, let me speak to men. The men who, I'm speaking to the leaders of this country. The men who are killing women, they're not in mass.
No.
In the words of my friend Jessica, these men are not in mass, they're in this country. And it's about time we start talking about it, other than walking on eggshells in a matter. And this problem will not go anywhere if we don't do something about it. Sikutenga na kuweka mikakati itasaidia. but really get into the root of the matter and the law to apply. Because what happens is someone kills or maybe abuses, right? And I work in the healthcare system, this is the healthcare platform, and I know when the procedures that come, and I tell you 20 over 80 cases are the ones that get justice. The other ones wamekuwa appropriated. And there's a pale nilikuwa nimeona, if someone is not reprimanded today, another one will steal, anajua already nitapotea na hii story. So it's about time that we stand against femicide in Kenya, and we stand against gender violence, and we stand against any kind of violence to women. And if we don't do that, I'm afraid that we're going to be in this rabbit hole.
Now that you said,
okay.
Now that you said that about the law enforcers and police and everything, I've remembered the point of, do you know the amount of shame that a woman has to go through
we
to
haven't
walk
even touched the rest.
into a police station and say,
They have been
this has happened,
vandalized.
And it's so sad to think that that's actually happening, not like happening because they actually find it a bit funny. Because before they actually believe that, how kujipeleka, number one, utaulizwa ulikuwa wapi, kwa nani, kwako, kwake. Yani, they ask questions that are not, in the moment, they're not, yani hazisaidi anything. So it's so sad that even like the people that are supposed to be protecting, quote unquote, protecting us, like the law enforcers, are not doing that for us because they don't take it as a serious matter. So I'm thinking, as much as we're saying all these things, I think at the back of our minds as individuals, I think everyone should just sit with themselves and ask themselves whether, if the same thing was done to them, leave alone someone else, if the same thing was done to them, what would they want someone else to do for them? Whether you're told, don't love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you have to love yourself first before you go loving this other person, right? So I'm thinking, these people should also sit down and be like, mimi nikafanyikiwa kitu kama hii. Because it's not, the sad truth about this is,
no one is safe.
No one is safe, even dudes. No one is safe.
No one is safe.
Sasa ni venye hatujui ya maboi inaitwaje. Hiyo ndio hatujui. Hatujui inaitwaje. Juu ya madem ni femicide, ya maboi hatujui inaitwaje. So no one is really safe, And if it happens to you, or if the violence is happening to a man, what would they want someone to do for them? I think that's a spectrum that no one, like the people in power, never think about. And I think it's something that they should sit down and ponder upon and be like, okay.
Listen, how, if when you say Yamaboy in Edward, does put me in the mind of thinking, so what is the definition of femicide?
Oh, you're so good.
So it's like femicide, and then you say, what is for men? They'll be like, why femicide is killing a woman because she is a woman, not because of other things.
Of other things, yeah.
I wanted to rob you. Maybe I wanted to, like, jealousy.
Yeah.
So I'm killing you because of a motive, known motive.
Yeah.
But if I kill you because I'm just killing you because you're a woman, what is femicide? So what is the definition of femicide?
I think what you said is what is femicide.
It's basically the killing
because
of females.
Yes,
Often because of their gender.
Okay.
And I think the thing that we haven't touched is it can be perpetrated by either sex. But majority of the cases that we have, around 90%, is perpetrated by the other gender, which is men. Yeah, so that will be femicide for me.
Finish.
Yeah.
So why am I asking this question is, when you're addressing the root cause of femicide, in such a definition, it's not, the root cause is being shown that it is the victim being of a particular
gender.
Yeah.
In the cases that have come up so far, and people who have been killed, you find maybe this man killed this woman because of jealousy or something. So addressing that root cause individually is so individualized that even the government cannot do anything about it.
No,
I think they can.
Let me correct you on that. Higher. Oh, Lord. So, I usually look at this in this way. they when we say that it's individualized, right? So how many times have you heard another man has killed another man because of jealousy? How many times have you heard another man kill another man because they took their money? You know, how many times have you heard another man has killed another man because
I bought you drinks.
I've bought you drinks and you didn't pay.
Yeah. Or I sent you money for a cab to come here and you never showed up.
Exactly.
Yes.
How many times have we had other men even steal from other men and they don't kill each other? They're there. Listen, they're there. Yeah. But how rampant is it? That's the problem. Because it's so easy. What I'm saying, the reason why femicide is there, and we can't justify the individualism, the individualistic of the reason, because you know what that is justifying the murder.
The question is, how are you going to address, not justify?
What I'm saying, the thought itself is justification of the murder. That is what I'm saying. First, we'll start from the mindset. You know, killing is killing, right?
Yeah.
As at now, when you're talking about femicide, it's so much that, let's say now, tukianza kusema the specific of it, it looks, how can you tell it? It looks justified. You know,
it looks normal.
It looks normal. Oh, he was jealous. Oh, she was out at night. Oh, she had 2 boyfriends.
She was at the wrong time.
At the wrong
place.
She was dressed wrongly.
Yeah.
Unelewa? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, it's when you flip the coin. When you flip the coin, now, if you look at now men with men themselves, because if a man is jealous about another man, do they kill them?
They don't. They just work harder. You know,
if another man has taken something from another man, do they kill them really? No. So the reason why femicide is femicide as it is because the justification of that death. And it's easy because if another man wants to kill another man, they may even kill each other because wako hizo nguvu. Let's say it. Mimi ukiniambia ni unue a 20-ton man.
I think you've missed the whole question in entirety. The question was, you're not justifying anything. You want to address that cause. So collectively, all motives will be banned on as femicide. But when you want to go address, you'll have to go address the individual causes that combine collectively to as femicide.
Yes.
So in the cause where the cause of the killing was jealousy.
How do you deal with it?
Is murder, is homicide, the homicide cases, right?
Yeah.
Ati?
Homicide.
Kwani nimesema?
Homicide.
Oh.
You'll scrap that, please.
Yeah, we'll scrap that.
Hatutaki
What?
tufungiwe.
Yes, please.
What? Nimesema homicide.
Yes, homicide.
There are homicide cases, right? Elias, if there's a case of homicide, nimechukuliwa from front to finish. Justice has been served.
Yeah.
You won't tell me another person will do the same thing. Unanielewa? The reason why this thing is continuing as it is.
Simuelewi.
Yeah.
Ati? I'm saying, if every case of a woman getting killed, justice has been served, the law has been taken to action, and imekuwa like imekuwa from start to finish. Unaget? Haijachwa what? Haijachwa pending. Number 2, justice has not also been delayed. Because sometimes justice delayed. See, justice
is
given,
not
right?
justice, yeah.
If each and every, hata before tufike hapa kwa such an epidemic, a pandemic, what you say, because now it's a pandemic in Kenya. If each case was taken to court and the law was served, I don't think we'll be here even in the first place.
But his question was, how do we deal with the root cause, for example, it being the reason why so-and-so was killed by this guy was because he was jealous that this lady has something that he needs or wants.
So we are looking at jealousy.
Yes, we're trying to deal with how do we curb the jealousy? How do we help our men to navigate
that was
jealousy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tutakate yoyote. Jive take long before the end. Tutakate yoyote. Itabidi. This
really?
Yeah.
How long?
Okay,
How
for
long have
me,
you been talking?
Can I say this?
1 hour.
Oh, 1 hour.
1 hour, that's a long time.
Mine goes down to...
Wacha ya jibu.
Alright.
Lakini hiyo yangu yote ukate ya hivi baki.
Sijui kama yangu itakuwa closing remarks, but I'm just going to share my thoughts on it. Mine is, I feel like from the individual reasons, from jealousy, oh, she was out with another man, it should stem, there should be a lot of education and sensitization and campaigns around these conversations. Homicide, femicide, whatever kind of killing is there. A lot of conversations should be had and a lot of education. And this should go from, I feel like, it should start from our houses, yeah? If you're a parent, if you are a caregiver, if you are a guardian, let us start these conversations from our houses. Let us ensure that our children are also aware of whatever is happening, both boys and girls, of whatever is happening in our society. And from there, let it also go back to schools. Because partly also schools, boys are also told, suppress. And girls are taught how to, empathy and be nurturing and expressive and all this, yeah? So it's from schools, the curriculum, I feel like this should be incorporated in the curriculums that we have right now. Outside that, there should be education, outside public education, the law enforcers, the police. There should be, I don't know what kind of training is given. But so often we hear a lot of issues. I went to report and I was just shamed. And even by female counterparts. A female police, you request to talk to a female police officer and you're going to be torn apart, I feel
the
like...
story of Fridah. There's a lady called Fridah. She went through it.
I saw the story and it was so heartbreaking and very sad. I feel like this should be education that also stems, and every single law enforcer should be educated about these things. And across of it all, I feel like empathy. Let us practice empathy.
Yeah.
Because with that, then, there's no way you're going to kill somebody else just because I was jealous.
Just because.
Yeah. Yes.
And I also think maybe with what you said with school and our kids and everything, these dudes are grown. Like, they're those ones that are grown. Hawezi rudi shule. We can't go back to school. So I think the service of mental health awareness, therapy, and all these things should maybe have a sensitized amount of money or something. The government should put that 100 million there to go to render therapy for free. It's expensive, guys. Very expensive. To go to render for free. So that people can just go and talk. Talk to your therapist. Then don't kill anyone. Then we move forward, because the truth is the ones who are killing right now are not the ones who are in school. They're the ones who are already out here in the workforce and they are doing things just because their head told them to do. So just to try and bring back the humanity and remove the, I don't want to say animalism, but kichwa imeleta.
Asanteni sana for that. And I think the takeaway is, let's care for each other. Humanity before everything. And because it seems like in the country we are in,